Hello there. I have a friend of mine that lives in Florida, so I'm not quite sure, but I think he's starting to learn to fish or starting to get into fishing, but he may have, since he lives in Florida, he certainly may have already been doing a lot of fishing, and let me adjust that a bit. And maybe just started back, whatever. But he asked me because he knows we've talked, we're longtime friends, and I used to fish all the time. I would fish 6 hours a day. I would, I was on the river constantly, and on different local ponds and all kind of stuff. It was something that I dearly loved, and I've gotten away from it because life gets in the way. You get older, you have more responsibilities, all your friends that you went fishing with, because I prefer to fish with someone, with a friend, That's part of the fun of it. And so, I haven't been fishing in 15 years, probably. I just bought a fishing license a week ago because it allows me access to state land so that I can go do photography and things like that instead of having to buy a special permit every time I went to like a game reserve or something like that. So he got me all interested in fishing again. I'm pretty sure I won't go to the lengths that I used to, but I might wet a line every now and then. And I started thinking about my old bass box. This bass box, this is an old Plano Guide Elite. And this was my bass box for many years. I dug it out of the shed, and believe me, that took a bit because my shed is crammed full, and it was all the way in the back. And it's seen many a year's use, and it's been out in that shed in the heat, so the plastic is probably deteriorated and stuff like that. But it's a good box. I want to open it up and just look at it. Maybe I use it as an encouragement to him or an enabling kind of thing when it comes to. But trust me, I don't have a huge amount of gear. So this box has a little container or a little section here, and this is like, a stringer, a lizard on a hook, or like a 5-inch worm on a hook. The last things probably that I fished with to make Carolina rig out of, that kind of deal. Some bobbers. Okay, I switched to hand holding because it's going to be easier to do. But I got bobbers, which I don't really use a whole lot, but 2 or 3 different sizes. These suckers right here are slamming good. The little rubber frog, fantastic stuff. A little fish scale that you can't really trust that. Some clippers to clip a line with. A couple hooks. This is a weight. But that's like what I'm working with right now, kind of deal. I would shove it in there, that kind of thing. And then you're going to blast on and keep doing that. What is sticking the box and making it not want to shut? There we go. And in the top of this box, I have some different types of spinners. These are in different colors and stuff like that. This is top water. I would take and put this on a line and hold the pole high, and it would stay on top of the water, and this would spin and buzz the top of the water, that kind of deal. And then you've got things like these would run a bit under the water depending on how much you let them drop before you started reeling them in, that kind of thing. Just various types, various colors. Another topwater spinner, but I took the skirt off of it and put a little frog on it. That's really cool. This has like a little double spinner. I just bought stuff that I thought looked cool and would work really well. That kind of thing. And then got some extra line. That line's probably no good. It's been in the heat for 15 years, so I would not trust it. Some spare hooks for things like Carolina rigs, plastic worms. A spare spool of lighter gauge line, like 6-pound test. I usually run 10, and then with this is my main rod and reel, and I think this has got 6-pound test on it. I got a pair of long needle nose pliers so that I can, it's got the little things here so that I can get the hooks out of the fish's mouth if I want to. This is mainly for catfish. And extra sinkers, more bobbers in there, some smaller hooks for panfish and that kind of thing. But yeah, I like that rod because it came with the extra spool, and so that's really cool. And then in here, I got little. This is my like panfish and perch and little rock bass, and stand by. I'm working with one hand here, but little spinners that everybody calls around here calls rooster tails. Little popper for top water. Put that on the water, it floats, and that the way the lip is shaped, if you jerk the rod, jerk the rod, it'll pop, bubble of water, bloop, bloop, and attract fish in the mornings and the evenings when they're hitting on top of the water. Alright, now. And then you got the little grubs. These are good for perch and crappie and any kind of small fish. And they have small jigs. I don't think I have any of them right now. Small jig heads like that have a hook on them that you can put on them. You can, they have a spinner attached to them, that kind of thing. And then, okay, here we go. They have the little they're tangled up, but the little jig head with a spinner on it. So I do have a few of them, more here, that kind of thing. And then a couple of the spare jig heads, and sinkers with hooks on them. They're basically jig heads as well. Some small sinkers, split shot, that kind of thing. Then there's, I think this is hooks and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just different kind of hooks. Oh wait, whatever. These are my favorite catfish hooks. These are called an O'Shaughnessy. I don't even know if you can still get them. The only place I could ever get them was through the Bass Pro Shops catalog. They're nickel plated. And they're just a great catfish hook. You got some of these kind of doohickeys here. There's always some kind of thing. Oh, that's weedless. No, it's not. No, it's not. No such thing. It doesn't exist. It's only weedless if you're in a really nice pond or something like that. I would never choose anything that I was worried about losing, that I paid a lot of money for in the river, would always be in a local pond. And then I got the helicopter lure manual, or whatever you want to call it, that Roland Martin came out with. Then I don't even know if there's a copyright on this. $1994 was when I got that one. I'll show you that lure when we get to it. It's a pretty good lure. It spins. You can drop it down and kind of jig, and it'll spin. It'll spin as you drop it and spin as you raise it up. It's really good for small fish and stuff like that. It was touted as a bass lure, but I catch more perch and stuff like that on it than anything else. So that's the top of the box. Let's go ahead and close that. And then the box has some latches, and it opens up, and it has this. Now these are my lizards and my rubber worms. One of these on the Carolina rig, up against the beds when the bass are spawning, they'll hit that like mad. And I have several different colors. There's some frogs. That's my favorite color around here for frogs. Some green ones, they work really well too. But those brown, and I guess that's an orange or a pink. That brown and orange right there here in this river, at least when I used to fish it, was the bomb. So, and I would run, they're just like a rubber worm. You hook them up to a Carolina rig or a Texas rig, and yeah, good stuff. And then you have the second drawer. This is my plastic worm, and I just used a 5-inch plastic worm. I have several different colors, just depending on where I'm at and what I think. These have little nodules or whatever in them that create bubbles. I've not noticed any difference in the catching ability, but you know. But I don't know if it says, but I just use a regular, and these have fish food in them supposedly. And I just use a regular 5-inch rubber worm, and or plastic worm, however you want to say it. Like I said, in several different colors. And one of the best ones out on this river. is this black one with the chartreuse tail. Good stuff. But yeah. And then I have these. These are like little jig heads. Put a little rubber worm on it and bounce them down, up and down on the, just scoot them on the bottom of on the bottom. There's another one of them with a skirt on it. But yeah, they work really well in the right place, but I would not use these in the river. They would get hung up and you'd lose them. And then this is my top water stuff, mostly for I would never, these are rapalas or rapalas, however it is you want to pronounce them. You'll see that most of mine are floating. This is a swimmer, I think, but like this is a suspending lure. It'll set at a certain spot. But I do not use anything but a floating rapala. Like one of these says floating right on it. But anyway, you set these, original floating. Almost all of mine, I think, are floating in one way or another. Of course, that one's a suspender, but original floating. Alright, and what I do with these on the river, I would never swim one of these because it just gets snagged up and I'd lose it. That's $5 or $6 lure. I don't know what they cost now. Is I take one of these, like this one here is really good. For some reason they like this one, I guess because it looks more like a minnow. But just throw it out and lay it on top of the water and just twitch it. Like a wounded bait fish. And in the evenings and in the mornings when the fish are biting on top of the water, boom. And then stuff like this, this kind of stuff. These are only used in ponds. I might use this on the river because it's a jitterbug. It stays on top of the water and it pops and makes a ruckus on top of the water for the fish to come investigate and hit. Sometimes you just make them mad with that and they'll hit. But these kind of stuff, they would not go. I would use them in a pond where I knew that the place was. Didn't have a bunch of brush and stuff on the ground so that I might lose it, but I got several different kinds. This right here, I forget, I found this somewhere, I think. I don't really use it. It's too big for this river most of the time, but I thought it was cool, so I grabbed it. Let me see if I can find. I just saw it. Oh, yeah. This is really cool. It's a top water lure. It's got a little. I can't get the hook to get out of the way, but it's got a little propeller in the back that spins as you pull it. Cool stuff. But yeah, that's my basically top water. And when I'm fishing ponds and stuff like that, if I'm not using a lizard or a worm, then I'm probably using one of these. And more of the same. And then you have hooks and stuff with, I've got some extra swivels, things like that for Carolina rigs. And this is the helicopter lure. And you can run it as a Carolina rig, you can You can run it in several different ways, but it spins and carries on. And I've used it, it works, but it's not my favorite. But I bought it, there was a local store here. You see I got a little extra room. There are a few lures that I have from my catfish box, which is, I don't have very much in it, so we won't be doing a video of that. But it's similar to the same kind of stuff here that I will probably put in here. A few of them anyway. But that's my box. And hope you liked it. But yeah, that all of those things, pretty much. I can't close that right now. I'll end up breaking it with one hand. But anyway, all of those lures and things like that, they worked really well for me in the time, there we go, that I fished, and I will probably take them out and do some more fishing with them. So thanks for watching, and bless you. I'll talk to you later.